What's up, c'est Noël, c'est notre itilien et chacun de vous Kemet. Let me just check the sound. Oh, there's no sound. Bear with me. Un, deux. Oh. There should be sound. Why is it not? Jamaica Politics wrote that he or she can hear me. What? But the sound's not coming out of my mobile phone then. Strange. Or is it so? Okay, the sound here. Now here. Attends, Nefer. Non, tu peux pas. Okay, well, now there's a sound. Okay, that's good. Well, thank you, Nefer. Hold on. Thank you, Jamaica Politics. Wagwan. Everton, Chris. So, this is Michelle Stern. Sorry, I happen to be logged in with my political page. Well, feel free to log in with the other page if you want. Michelle Stern. Are you the sister that left a message on the video? Which video was it? When I talked about Arabs or men of color. Let me see. No, it's another one. Okay. Me good. About you. How about you? I'm good. I don't know too much patois, so you know. I'm chilling. I'm chilling in a DPS. Very likely I was on your panel discussion a long time ago also. Okay. Oh, well, you know, the Jamaican lady that I remember, we talked about, you know, spirituality or religion for a little while. But I don't know if it's you, but that was indeed probably over a year ago, you know. But feel free if you want to get on the panel. But if you're aware, I'm requiring people to show their face when they get on the panel. If for whatever reason you don't wish to show your face, then you can just continue in the chat. So everybody can feel free to type in any comment that they want, whether it's a statement or a question, whether they agree or disagree. And the title of this video says Brandon, Ivorian-Indian, killed because he planned to marry his Algerian girlfriend. And it says Ivorian-Indian. Wait, one more second, one second, one second. So the father of this 19-year-old young man who was killed is from Ivory Coast, and the mother is from India. And he was in a relationship with a lady from Algeria that he knew from primary school. They dated for a few years, about 3 years, something like that. And keep the comments going. I saw that there's some new comments. I will go through them after. And he was planning on marrying her. The family of the young girl would not accept, and the brother of the young girl killed the 19-year-old young man. He stabbed him in the heart. In France, it's a very known fact that Berbers, or Arabs as some people call them, those North Africans from the Maghreb region, a lot of them do not want their daughters to marry black men, even if they are Muslims, because of course the inhabitants of the Maghreb, for the most part, are Muslims. Now, not only they don't want their daughters to marry black men, a lot of time there are severe cases of racism that are expressed either in words or physically. It's a very known fact. The amazing thing is that those people, they pray together with black people. They are happy when black people go and spend their money in their businesses, in their stores, in their takeaway restaurants, and so on. That they're cool with that. When black people go and march with them for their cause, for the situation that's happening in their countries, in their region, in their areas, that they accept, they are cool with. But when it comes to, even though they are allegedly part of a family or Ummah, when it comes to interracial mixing, interracial marriage, I mean, we're not talking about just being in a relationship, because some people might act like they are purist. They might act like they are purist, and it's like no relationship before marriage. The marriage you don't want, many of them. Now, that being said, um, it's not the case for all of them. But there's just so many of them that I will be tempted to say that it's a majority of them. And if it's not the majority of them, I'm tempted to say that it's at least half of them. If I was to estimate, I would say there might be a quarter of them who will tolerate their daughters marrying black men. I might be wrong with my estimation. It is well known in France. And now in America, you might encounter some people from North Africa, but most of the time they are mainly in European countries because of the proximity between the continent of Africa and the continent of Europe. So, since those who will be in America will be so few, their behavior will most likely not be the same as it is in France. Because in France, I told you about a Facebook group where they used to publish pictures of North African women next to black men. I mean, they might have been classmates, they might have been workmates, but as soon as they saw a young woman from the Maghreb region next to a black man, they will post the pictures and insult the woman, insult those ladies. And that group had like tens of thousands of subscribers. Then there's a guy who's well known and famous for being extremely negrophobic and anti-black, and he said that on tape so many times. He has a some sort of radio broadcast, or let's say, how do you call it again? Like a podcast. He has some sort of podcast, but even before the podcast, over the social media, he's been very vocal about his anti-blackness. And those people are Muslims. So they would love to tell you about the law, and they would love to tell you about the last sermon of Prophet Muhammad, where it is reported that he said that there's no difference between an Arab and a non-Arab. So you have the corpus, you have the literature, and then you have the practice. So the claims of the religious, of the practitioners of that religion, is usually all good, but the practice is something else. And you can do the test. You can do the test and ask people from Asian countries and North African countries, would you be okay if your sister marries a black man? Or if you want to go that far, you can just say, I got something to tell you. I'm dating your sister. But the best would be for the lady to be there because they might want to save face and act like, oh, for real? Oh, but you're my brother. You're my ahi. It's all good. And they go home and they proceed to give their sister a severe punishment. And probably the whole family will join in. A bit like in a movie. Well, okay, I will leave it there. They will say something else. But if the lady is there, those who are so racist that they will not tolerate a fellow Muslim marrying their sister, it will be hard to contain themselves. So this means that they will rather have a North African who is into several different kind of illegal activities, criminal activities, rather than a black Muslim who's living a good life just because of the color of his skin. And the black Muslims, they are very well aware of that because many of them have gone through much trouble, hardship because of their relationship with a fellow um, Muslim that happens to come from the Maghreb region. So if you want, feel free to do the test, but there's a huge hypocrisy. I'm telling you, it is well known. It is well known, and it's not just people from North Africa. You know, like I said, you have many different Asian countries. You have some Asian countries where people are racist towards their fellow countrymen, uh, just because they have a darker skin tone. You have some Asian countries where skin bleaching is just so popular that you have advertisement for skin bleaching products on TV. You have some countries where people are so racist that you have some caste system, and it appears that it is mainly based on the skin complexion or skin tone. You might have heard about the untouchables, but you know how so many black people are. As long as people don't want them and reject them, sometimes they will go a great length to try to be accepted by those people. As a matter of fact, you have many black Muslims many black African Muslims who actually talk about the racism, the extreme racism coming from Asians and North Africans, but they talk about it when they are with other black people, when they are with some or one of those who are from those areas. They don't talk about it. They act like it doesn't exist. And it's a shame because when it comes to criticizing, denouncing, criticizing racism from Europeans, Westerners, white people, white skinned people. I mean, Berbers, many of them are white skinned anyway, but you know how people are. Some people feel like you only have white people in the West, in America, and Europe, and everywhere else on the planet. You don't have white people. You have melanated people. Um, so when it's coming from Westerners and non-Muslims, then they will talk about it. They will criticize it. You will feel like they are advocates, activists. You know, they'll be very passionate to denounce it. It will be shared on social media. We will see it. People will talk about it. You know, if some things are said against Muslim, you will hear them. They will be very vocal. But when there's racism against black people coming from Muslims, no matter which country they are from, they become very moderate and conservative and quite silent. This hypocrisy is weird. So let me go through the comments now. Um, the sister wrote that she contradicted one of my arrête, 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 arrête. She contradicted one of my longtime caller who claimed black Americans did not come from Africa on the slave ship. Oh well, I remember there's a brother who was not anonymous and unidentified. Actually, it was before required people to show their face when they call in, but he still used his webcam or anyway we could see him, and he's of those who feel like black people or at least African Americans are indigenous to America. So the main points that I remember, it was well, one of the main points is what about the boats? Where are the boats used to bring the Africans in? And as I usually said, where are the boats used to bring the Europeans in? Nobody will claim that the Europeans, um, the British, the French, the Dutch, I don't think anybody will claim that they are indigenous to America, that they found themselves over there. So there might have been another live stream where I talked about the fact that those uh, some people have said that the boats were converted. Basically, the wood was used to other usage, and some people say as well that it's only so long those ships could have been preserved. You know, so back in the day, I'm not a specialist when it comes to navigation, but I think it's safe to say that back in the day, during the time of the transatlantic slave trade, the majority of the boats, if not all of them, were built mainly out of wood. But today, the ships are most likely not mainly made out of wood, and particularly the bottom of the ship, because there's all sorts of things that will cause damage over time. So we have on the one hand some people who feel like um, African Americans are indigenous to America, and we have some who actually feel like this transatlantic slave trade did not happen, or that the slaves, the enslaved Africans that were brought to the Americas, are way fewer than we would expect. That the numbers they give us are greatly exaggerated. But we have a few who actually outright say that the transatlantic slave trade did not occur. Jamaica politics wrote, in other words, these Berbers are displaying typical white man's behavior. They are white people severely tanned. Not necessarily severely, because, I mean, over the years, I realized how it is in America. But now, Morocco, Morocco is particular because you have some people, particularly the woman, I touched on that many times, a lot of them will be confused with black women, you know. Some males too, but most of the time the woman, because obviously they will have longer hair. So you might see them from the back, and you see that the hair is not completely kinky or nappy, but kind of, you know. So the funny thing is that even those Berbers who are dark skinned, who sometimes can be confused with black people or biracial, mixed race people, even them, they are very racist towards black people. Not all, of course, but many, you know. But otherwise, for the most part, I mean, North Africans, Berbers, they are fairly white skinned, you know, and I wouldn't say severely tan, they will have their skin complexion will be slightly darker than some Europeans, indeed, but some of them are actually quite light skin, All this will come to an end when we rise again. Then we will have to take, then they will have to take a backseat. Well, many times we talk about when we will rise. Pan Africans like to say, when Africa will rise, all this will change. But with the behavior that we have, we are far from rising again. In order for a people to rise, they must have enough things in common. And if we make the comparison with other groups of people, other ethnic groups, they usually, and I've said it many times, and people have the right to disagree with what I'm saying, but usually a group of people have three main things in common: a language, a culture, and a religion. But black people in general who are all over the place, you know, and we want to be about everything. And we have a lot of narratives that are wrong, that are incorrect. And even when people are faced with the fact that these narratives are wrong, they still try to keep it pushing. And we have many examples of that, over the years, you know, because you listen to some black people, we are Moors. You listen to some of them, we are from Morocco. Funny things that the same one we talk about, we are Moors, we are from Morocco, we have some treaties, but they're the one who tell you we're not Africans who having anything to do with Africa. And they will tell you that we are indigenous of America, that we are the Native Americans or so-called Indians. You have some who will tell you that we come from Amexem, that we come from Amarukush, Um, Others will tell you that we are Arabs. We are the indigenous or original Arabs. Others will tell you that Christianity is a black man's religion, that Jesus and his disciples and apostles were black, that the inhabitants of Canaan during the first century and before were black people. Same for the Arabs of the 7th century and before. So we are really, really, really all over the place. We are all over the place. Now, Jamaica politics wrote, even our own black people hate their own. And that's a reality. But the self hate that we have is not surprising knowing the history that we went through. Because not only we have many white people who talked about black people being cursed or not equal or disfigured, 3/5 of a human being, basically not equal white people. We do have some black people who also teach that we are different, marked, even disfigured. And if you didn't know, here is a 3-minute example.
So Shabazz was not permitted to stay in that area, so he took his family into the jungle of East Asia, which we now call Africa, to make a people close to nature. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, this is the origin of kinky hair, because we didn't have kinky hair prior to that. The hair on our head was like the hair on our eyebrows. The hair on your eyebrows straight, the hair on your head is not the same as the hair on your eyebrow. But the hair of every other people is the same as their eyebrow. Your eyebrow straight, your hair something different. Wouldn't you like the hair on your head to be as straight as the hair on your eyebrow? That's why you're so busy frying it. That's why you're so busy pulling it. Because your nature tells you that the kink I mean, you know, with I'm black and I'm proud, we got to learn to be proud of kinks. Because most of your family of other black people on the earth, jet black. They didn't have no broad nose and thick lips and kinky hair. They were dark-skinned people, jet black. But they had straight hair, a thinner lip, a thinner nose. But we are marked as a different kind of black person. And we were rejected and despised, not only from the circle of the gods, but we were despised and rejected by all the other dark people of the earth. This is why today black people with kinky hair and broad nose and thick lips are rejected in every society. I want you to hear me well tonight.
Yes, sir.
Why are we rejected? Because the essence of beauty is in obedience and submission to God. And the essence of ugliness is when you rebel against God. And when you rebel against God, in your rebellion, you are marked with a certain mark of your rebellion, which is the disfigurement of your internal self, which manifests in the disfigurement of your external self. And this is why when you look at our people, wherever we are found on the earth, you find us either disfiguring ourselves physically because we are disfigured on the inside because of rebellion.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So we've heard it. I call that self-hate teaching, but other people call that supreme wisdom. You will never have any other group of people on the planet Earth any other ethnic group on the planet Earth that arrête de faire ça, that will have similar teaching. You can take any people, for example, you won't have Chinese people that have teaching that says that Chinese people are disfigured, that they are marked, that their phenotype is the essence of ugliness. Same for Arabs, same for um, Israeli or Jewish people. No matter what their ethnic group, no matter what their religion is, um, or political affiliation, you know, if that exists, then please let me know. Do you have any white people who say that white people are marked and disfigured? So I want to show you something before I continue scrolling through the comments. This is a comment left on the video I did just earlier, a few minutes ago. And okay, as you can see, it's a video called Roderick Brooks Killed by Garrett Hardin from Harris County, Texas. And if I scroll down, this is the comment left by Garcia, who wrote, now with the recent economy, to get financial freedom, you have to be making money while you're asleep. And this is something that many people talk about. A lot of people talk about the condition of black folks worldwide or in the West, and many stress that we need economic freedom. Well, as long as we are practicing the school of thoughts of other people while claiming it to be our own, it's very hard to get financial freedom because we spend time, money, energy, and effort with the other belief systems or religion. We spend equal amount of energy, time, and money to try to make it our own and try to spread that, proselytize, and all this wealth could benefit us. The self-hate teaching you've heard, let me show you something. Let me show you something. I found a video. I'm just waiting to remove the ad. All right. So, you see the title of this video? I'm going to share the link. And as you can see, I'm showing the book called the Book of Khalid. It is spelled with two L's. There must have been some reason for that. So the title of the video is $10,000 Falcon Speech in 1998. So I've shared the link in the chat. You can listen to me quoting from the book. And for those who have the book, I'm giving the page number so you can go and read for yourself. So this hate teaching, the person who's publicly stating the self-hate teaching, lâche ça Nefer. So this guy who broke down, because he wants you to listen well, he broke down how we are marked and disfigured and how we rebelled against God, and obedience to God. The essence of beauty is in obedience to God, and the essence of ugliness is in disobedience. So our phenotype is obviously, apparently, The Essence of Ugliness. In 1998, he was paid $10,000 for a speech. And then we have people who talk about economy. $10,000 for one speech at a university, if my memory doesn't fail me. And I don't know if you noticed, but most of the time, from my observation, I mean, I never watched all the videos of Farrakhan, but many times the places where we see him giving speeches is at churches. If he charged $10,000 to give a speech at a university, I doubt that he will go to churches giving speeches for free. He was probably paid for making those speeches in churches. Now, for how much, I don't know. They will not disclose how much he's being paid every time he's making a speech. That was 1998. The price or the fee might have gone up, you know. But that's just one example, you know. Others get paid major paper. They might be paid less, you know. But I remember someone who was paid like, $3,000, $3,500 for debate. And when he came in, he did not debate. So some people have it made like that, you know. But so that's just an example when we talk about economy, you know. And that there's another quote about what they call the Savior's Day, where they celebrate the arrival of their white savior. And we're talking about the so-called black organization. And there are some donation made to the leader of the organization. So at least $10,000 for a speech, gifts of hundreds of dollars per member every year for the celebration of the arrival or the coming of their white savior that is their God. Their God is white, a white man, you know. So you can imagine how much all that amounts to without talking about the millions of dollars that they receive from foreign countries, you know. So those who are not aware, because some people are like they don't know, that is their savior. That is their God. Except for here. This is Elijah Muhammad here. And this one, that comes from one of Omar Shabaz's video. So they will dispute that, okay? So that is him. God. No, not Drew Ali. Not Drew Ali, Jamaica Politics 411. That's Fard Muhammad. Fard Muhammad. Wallace Fard Muhammad. But now they like to call Farad Muhammad. Farad sounds better than Fard. Some people say it might have been Ford, you know? And that's him here. This is a painting, I believe, a drawing. I don't think it's a picture. But that's the main depiction of Fard Muhammad, the one that's accepted by all Nation of Islam members. When they say God, every time Elijah Muhammad said God in the person of Fard Muhammad, that's the person there. That's their God. And his father is called Alfonso. Sounds very Muslim. Sounds very Arabic, doesn't it? His father is from the Quraysh tribe. That's the tribe of Prophet Muhammad. but he's called Alfonso, and his mother is called Baby G. Here's their God. How does a young black boy or a young black girl feel when he or she look at the God of the Nation of Islam, a black organization, and that's what they see, a white man? So we have a long way to go. So indeed, a lot of our own, a lot of our own black people hate their own. Now she added, "What a coincidence! I did not even read the rest of the comment, but she says, despite what Louis Farrakhan says in his speeches, he prefers the Asian. Recall that speech he made about black people are cursed. So that's one I play. Now, I fully expect all of that will change soon. We will rise again, and when we do, the narrative will be what we want it to be. Everything is about strategy employed. I understand your sentiment. I understand your will, but that's just not enough. We have plenty of people who say that. We have plenty of black people who have all these nice sentences. The same one who say death before dishonor are the same one who say if you can't beat them, join them, which doesn't match. But you have plenty of nice sentences and proverbs and sayings, and you know when it's time to quote literature or sayings, we are very good, very skilled. When it's time to say these anti-black and anti-African teachings are wrong, and I do not support that, and I do not support anybody that teaches that, then we don't hear much people. You know, Farrakhan is ignorant and stupid, just as anybody talking this garbage. Our hair is what it is because of the climate we are from. Our hair allows heat to escape and keep our heads cool. Unlike the overlapping hair of the north, you will never see black people fanning our hair in our climate. They have to cut their hair. Churches usually share the collection plate with the invited speaker. Um, yeah, okay. So I went through most of the comments, and there was no more comments. So I'm thinking about putting it to an end unless somebody wants to add on or call in. But over the years, the situation has not really changed much. You know, a few black people got notoriety, fame, celebrity, money, but for the most part, we are here running around talking about we are cursed and disfigured, and claiming, societies, empires, civilizations, and traditions that are not ours. Some people would tell you that because we are not Hebrew Israelites, that's why we're not getting forward. And they would tell you that we come from the different tribes of Israel, Judah, Levi, and so on, the 12 tribe chart. We have so many stuff that's made up. And then they want to diss and vilify people who present information that's there and attested and in museums around the world, because their narrative goes against this or these civilization and empire that are clearly African, clearly from the motherland. And I agree with this. We have no leadership. This is what is causing the confusion. I agree with that. We have plenty of so-called black leaders, but I would say that we don't have any leadership. And you can do the test. Anybody can go to all those black organizations, all these black leaders, and ask them, can show them the clip there, and ask them, do you support this organization? Do you support the one who teach that, who taught that? Now you can be politically correct and say, do you support this statement? Privately, they'll probably say that they don't support it. Publicly, it will be another issue. They will make excuses, you know. So the problem to me is not solely the NOI or Nation of Islam, because like I've said many times, we have some Hebrews who like to celebrate the death of Africans. And even though they celebrate the death of Africans, they are comfortably, regularly invited on so-called so-called black power platform to kick their game, to spit their stuff, their doctrine, their literature. You would think it's the world upside down, you know? But that's a conscious community. So I will leave you now. Stay safe, stay healthy. And if I'm allowed to, by the Necheru, I will definitely holler back at you. Hotep.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Medu Nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video Kemet and Ma'at before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody is interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neture classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Neture class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media. that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/maatforever.